What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to try on all of the new Lisa Eldridge products that I have. These, I've had them, I've been wearing them, so it's going to be more than just a first impressions try on. It's going to be a full-on review because I've been wearing them for ever since they arrived. I bought them right after they launched, so like 3 weeks, and I have some of her new cream blushes. I don't think these are new, her lip glosses, but I have 2 shades there, 2 new shades of lipsticks, and her liquid highlights. So wanted to try all that on, but I'm also pretty fresh-faced, bare-faced here today, so that I could also do kind of a real-time try-on and really walk you through everything that I like about these, what I think about all these products as I'm applying them. So let's go ahead and get started. So first, let's put some life back in these cheeks with some blush. What I have on my face right now is I primed with the Huda Beauty Water Jelly Primer, and then I'm wearing her Faux Filter Luminous Matte Foundation. And then over top of that, I have sprayed my Flower Beauty Seal the Deal Luminizing Setting Spray, and then I have my Huda Beauty Glowish Soft Radiance Bronzing Powder in the shade Medium. Now the 3 blush shades that I have of hers are first Pink Soap. This is the one that when I saw it online, I thought this is going to be the best everyday sort of blush. I tend to like bold eyes, and so I'm actually not big in the bold blush game. So this is one that I knew, while I like the 2 kind of brighter shades that I have, I would really, really love Pink Soap because it is described as a muted dusty rose. And I personally think that in the container and in all the swatches that I see online, it looks a lot more muted than it actually appears when I blend it on my skin. When I put it on my cheeks, I find it has a far more rosy and pinkish hue to it, which I really like, because then it really does truly play as a blush and not, maybe a bronzer as something that is maybe too muted or earth-toned might. Then I have Island Glow, which is described as a warm, bright coral, and that is exactly what it is. This I bought because it seems like such a fun shade, perfect for summer, to get that pop of pinky orange on the cheeks, and it is a true coral. I don't find it leans too orangey. If you're worried about a coral looking a little bit too warm, too orangey on your skin tone, I tend to fit pretty narrowly into the neutral category of undertone, and I find that this does not skew too warm for me. And then last up, and the shade that I want to apply today is called Pink Poetry. This is described as a warm-toned bright pink, and I'm just going to apply this to the back of my hand. This brings about, I don't know if you heard that, there was a little sputter as product kind of came out. What I've run into with these is a little bit of inconsistency in the texture of the product. So for instance, my Island Glow, when I first used it, it looked like some of the pigment, some of the mousse or cream element of the product had separated from a clear liquid part of the product. And so my first few applications of it were actually very dewy, glowy, borderline liquid creamy, because there was so much of that like spare mixing medium around to mix it around with. Whereas my Pink Poetry and my Pink Soap are much thicker and more mousse-like in texture, which I think is very interesting. And I've used each of these, a couple times a piece. So I feel like I've gone through enough product to kind of empty any dried product that might have been here in the top of the cap, and still they tend to be just drier and more mousse-like. But regardless of the texture, they are all very pigmented. So with these, I just put the tiniest dollop on the back of my hand, and then I like to use my middle and pointer finger to apply that to my cheeks, and then I keep my back 2 fingers clean so that I can go and blend with those. And just in case I overdo it a little bit, it's a little easy to do with these because she even says it on the website, so it's entirely user error that I overdo it, because she says a little goes a long way, and it truly does. And I have been putting my blush back here. You can obviously put these anywhere. They're supposed to be like a skincare makeup hybrid, makeup with skincare benefits, but I have been placing them to the back of my cheeks, especially with the drier formulas that I have, because my cheeks have been so dry. I've never experienced dry skin in my life, and over the past few months, down the center of my face, as someone who is combo skin and acne prone, dry right in the center of my face, because I'm pregnant. Surprise. I am just over 20 weeks today, but it has dried my skin out like nobody's business. And so, yeah, I have found that that's part of why I'm putting glowy face spray and priming my skin on top of my super hydrating skincare, because my skin can't get enough moisture. So just a heads up, I do find this is like the first time in my life that I've ever been able to speak to how a product performs on dry textured skin. And so just so you know, I have found that I have had to kind of avoid this part of my skin, which has just become, you know, drier, more textured with pregnancy. It's a boy, by the way. We're very excited. Confirmed that like today with my 20-week sonogram. So woohoo. And you can see that I've already kind of overdone it over here and even gotten some in my hair. I don't know. I think it's because I wasn't using a mirror earlier, but it's very pretty. It's very glowy. However, in the time that I've been talking to you right now, is dried. It does not take a while. It doesn't take at all for this stuff to dry. So I would say you have to work with it kind of quick. I mean, it's still pretty workable on the skin. Like I'm going to take a brush just to make sure everything is really as diffused, especially around the edges, as I want it. But you can see, it's like definitely any dew from this is gone. I touch it, it's not tacky. It truly dries down to a full matte powdery kind of finish. But it is because it dries down like that to that powdery finish that I find it just can be kind of tricky on some of my drier, more textured spots, because between the drier mousse texture and just the way it so solidly dries down when it sets, you know, I find it can cling to some of my dry patches. All right, so there's Pink Poetry applied. Now for the highlighter. The shade that I got is Cosmic Rose. And I thought this looks like it's a step, just a hint deeper than, I think it's called not Crystal Light. That is probably not what she named it, but it's like crystalline something or other that looked like it didn't really have much of a tint or a hue to it at all. This one has a slightly pink glow to it, although you really can't tell just from that. But I got it because I thought it would add a little bit of a healthy flush to my skin, and it turns out that in certain lights it is more pigmented, more pink than I anticipated it being. So just a heads up, it's not just like a subtle pink I mean, it is a pink champagne, but in certain lights it just comes off as far more pink than I would have expected. This one does take a little bit longer to dry or set down totally, but when it does, it too is like fully, I would say not as powdery as the cream blushes, but just about. And simply for the fact that it's a highlighter, I do also tend to keep it away from the apples of my cheeks, which I haven't really had to do in the past. So again, I just put it, you could see, right close to the outer corner of my eye, and then taking that brush and blending it out from there. And then sometimes, you know, like down the center of my nose or my Cupid's bow or whatever. It's a really beautiful, subtle sort of highlighter, very finely milled pigment, so I don't feel like, I mean, it dries, I love that it looks like a balm or a wet glossy dew, but it dries down because with a balm type highlighter, which I love, you know, Danessa Myricks' Dew Wet Balm, I love that, but it never truly dries down. This, I feel like, gives you that balmy, glowy, like I just got done lounging on a very expensive tropical beach. That's the kind of wet, balmy vibes this gives me. And you can wear it under your makeup. I haven't yet tried that with these, but you certainly could. And I think, you know, especially if you're wearing something more full coverage like the Huda Beauty that I'm wearing today, you would find that it more comes through as a lit from within glow and nothing too like shimmery or metallic. I don't know that I would try wearing it under some of the more glowy tinted moisturizers out there that a lot of brands have been coming out with because it is so glowy. But if you like that level of glow, it sets. So I don't think you have to worry about putting this on as like a primer in selective spots or all over your face and then having your foundation move over top of it, because once it sets, it's there. It's there until you want to take it off. And it's really just so beautiful and flattering. Now let's talk lipsticks. Oh my, how did I get this blush everywhere? It's everywhere. What did I do? Okay, lipsticks, I got two. I believe these are new shades, but not new finishes. They are, I think they're the super, let me double check. Let me know what I'm talking about first. Okay, so these are both luxuriously lucent lip colors, and the shades that I got were Kitten Mischief. I'd be lying if I said I didn't get it for the name. There's something so fun and appealing about the name Kitten Mischief, and then to find out it is a beautiful light caramely pink tone, that it was that beautiful My Lips But Better hue. I had to get it. It's such a beauty, and it truly is. That is the shade that it is on me. It's a go-to everyday sort of lip. And then the other shade that I got is Spirited Away. And this is described as a modern rosewood that, quote, traverses the color spectrum from brown to red to pink with a warm undertone. So this is a very versatile shade for me, I think. It is deeper, so it's not necessarily as wearable with, well, I mean, I take that back. They have a sheer balmy finish to them, so they are tinted, but there's something about the fact that they're not fully opaque that leaves them feeling a little bit undone and therefore okay to balance out a really bold eye, even for a shade that is a little bit deeper and a starker contrast on my skin tone, like Spirited Away. So I really love both of these shades and the finishes. I'm really eyeing Atomic Cherry, which looks like it's this beautiful blue-based red, which I am such a sucker for. Her Velvet Ribbon is one of my favorite, well, we'll get to that, but it's one of my, I'm a sucker for a blue-based red, and she has that in this finish. And I love the finish so much because it is such an easy one to apply on the go. It's just fuss-free because it's relatively sheer that I'm like, oh, it's kind of calling my name. Then last up, the glosses that I have. I got Songbird, which is described as a light beige putty pink. Again, when I saw this online, I was like, gonna be a great everyday shade for me no matter what look I am wearing on my eyes. Whereas the other shade I got, which is Ribbon, is what I thought would be more of a statement shade, and it certainly is, but I just feel with glosses sometimes, especially glosses that intend to be opaque, they can be a little touchy because sometimes in a gloss formula, the pigment can separate from the gloss itself and sink into fine lines and bleed and look unflattering. And so, I mean, I trust Elisa, very much so, but you just never know. So I was curious. Curiosity got me, and I love it's named Ribbon, which I assumed was after Velvet Ribbon, the blue-based matte red that she first came out with and is easily my most worn Lisa Eldridge shade. It doesn't disappoint. Both of these lip gloss shades are super opaque. There is no creasing, no bleeding, no uneven, streaky sort of wear. This formula somehow manages to disperse the pigment and keep it suspended like throughout the whole time you're wearing these glosses. So for the lips today, I think I'm going to go with Spirited Away first, and then maybe a gloss over top. I am wearing a Sarah Happ. This is like a lip balm, the Lip Slip. Because naturally, my lips have been super dry too, so I'm moisturizing them any chance I get. And it just goes, it glides on so easily, providing a good amount of pigment, but still that balmy, you know, glowy, healthy looking, I feel like it makes my lips look plump, which is really just the balmy, shiny effect of it. But it's a very healthy lip look, and I very much love it. Then for the lip gloss over top, I will put on Songbird, just because I'm not sure how Ribbon would play over this. So for Songbird, you can see the doe foot. It's an interestingly shaped doe foot. It's not like your super traditional doe foot, but I find it functions very similarly. And because I want to keep it pristine, because I love these products so much, I'm going to put that on the back of my hand and apply this, just patting that in the center of my lips. So you can see it's when you put it over like a lighter gloss over a deeper lipstick shade, it doesn't, it's not so opaque that it covers that shade up. You might get a little bit of a color gradient here, but mostly I'm finding that it is just giving me that high shine, glossy look over top. And a really nice feeling slip to it too. These aren't sticky glosses at all, which is really nice. And that is the look using some of my newest Lisa Eldridge items. I wasn't sure when to post this just because some things are out, like I think almost all of the cream blush shades are still out of stock on our website. And so I wasn't sure if I should go for it right when they came or wait until everything was back in stock, but hopefully this gives you, if you're on the fence, you want to buy some of these things when they do come back in stock, it'll help you make your decision beforehand so that you can load your cart and then hit that buy button when they actually do come back in stock. I hope it was useful. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.